Yeah, it's me, Scotty.
What's up, Scotty? What's on your mind, man?
I'm good. I wondered if this is a political show, but today's March 9th, 2017,
Yep.
and I wanted to talk about a gentleman by the name of Christopher Wallace.
Christopher
Yeah, the
Wallace. Yep.
world, yep, the world knows him as Notorious B.I.G. Now, when he died, I was 11 when it happened, and this was like in the thick of the whole East Coast, the West Coast
Yep.
beef. And I didn't realize it at the time, but like later on, Big's murder, and even like you could say Tupac's murder, like it ironically did a few things. It actually squashed what the so-called East Coast West Coast beef,
Mm-hmm.
and it made people take a step back. I mean, we still have rivalries here and there, Nicki and Remy Ma,
Yeah.
but it also shed light on the Rampart scandal, the LAPD,
Yeah.
which is for anyone who doesn't know about the Rampart scandal, just Google it, but also you can watch Training Day, which is partly uh, based on certain events that happened during the Rampart scandal.
Mm-hmm.
It exposed that. It exposed the fact that also, like Chris Rock said, that the police don't particularly care for rappers, um, and yeah, it really showed rappers aren't invincible,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
there was a lot of there's a lot of conspiracy about behind. It's ironic till this day. The Lana Wallace says she thinks it's a conspiracy, but it's still this day that nobody has been held to account for what happened
Yeah.
to Notorious B.I.G. or Tupac. That's crazy. And
Yeah.
eh, yeah, I wanted to finish.
Oh
Ready
yeah.
to Die. Yeah, Ready to Die is one of my favorite albums. And listen to the song Suicidal Thoughts because it really is a descriptive
It's a good track.
look into the mind. Yeah, look into the minds like a lot of young black men go through in those situations. So I just
Cool,
want to
man.
say that. Rest
Hey,
in peace, Christopher Wallace, and long live B.I.G.
hey, thanks for the call, man. I actually was going to talk about him a little bit later, but where else can you go from talking about the Kurds in Syria to talking about Notorious B.I.G.? One of the thing that besides commemorating his death. And I was seriously caught up in the East Coast West Coast stuff back when he was killed 20 years ago. I was 17 in high school, and I'm on the East Coast, right? Technically, I'm on the well, geographically I'm on the East Coast, but not culturally. East Coast really was like a Northeast, like New York. But I was in South Florida, and I consider myself. I mean, I was on the East Coast, but I identify with the West Coast, and I was still pissed about Tupac getting killed. So at the time when Biggie was killed, I didn't appreciate the magnitude of what happened. And it wasn't until I just started, listening to all of his music over again and over again, you start getting the scope and the scale of what happened. But then as I got older, you start realizing how much the media played into this. Like think about how the media does politics now. That's how they were doing. That's how they were doing Pac and Biggie. They were really fueling it as much as they could, because it was, wasn't clicks at the time, right? Maybe a couple of sites had websites back then. I'm sure they did, but it wasn't about clicks. It was about viewers and how many people tuned in, MTV News, and how many people watched, and who was on, what show, and it was really in the album sales. So it wasn't just the media; it was record labels who were really fueling this because it drove money. It was profitable, and in the midst of their greed, money hungry, capitalistic, soulless pursuits, we lost two of the greatest of all times. behind that. And it wasn't until most of us got a little bit older and were able to look back. And when I say, I mean, it may have only taken a year, may have only taken a few months for us to look back and see how much the media and record labels were fueling this for sales and for profits and views. And by views, again, not in today's terms, but in those terms, watching television. And it only cost us, sarcasm, obviously, it cost us Biggie and Tupac. So we really have to be mindful of the passions that men try to inflame, because it's a profit center. And not only is it a profit center, but the more sensationalized they can make something, the faster it could escalate into something deadly. I don't consider rap beefs in general to be that, right? Rap beefs are like Twitter beefs. You know, they happen. They happen regularly. They should happen regularly. It's part of the art form. It's part of what we like. We like to see the rap battles. But what happened between this whole East Coast, West Coast rivalry that led to the deaths, ultimately led to the deaths of Tupac and Biggie, was fueled by nothing other than people who learned how to profit off of inflaming the anger and passions of people. And we lost two champions because of that.